What is going on YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. You see this like really cool like blue feel? I promise this is all natural lighting. So once you have it downloaded, just open it up. It's really simple, very intuitive. Once it is open, go ahead and expand it here. Now you have your environment. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to Artboard and you want to select the device you want to build this user interface for. So we're going to go ahead and just use an iPhone 8. Boom. So now you have the outline of what an iPhone 8 actually is. So you have 375 width and you have 667 for the height. The reason why this is so important is because you want your design to be able to fit this actual size of the screen, and it'll save you a lot of headache down the road. First thing I'm going to show you how to create is a loading screen. So in order to get an image on top of this UI, and we want it to fill the whole entire space, because this is going to be basically whenever the user clicks the app, it's going to be that launch screen. So the next thing you want to do is you want to insert an image. Really straightforward. So grab an image from the internet or whatever you have. Make sure it has a ratio that is equivalent to the size of like an iPhone screen. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if you look up iOS images, that'll be really helpful. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my image. I think it's under mountains. Make sure you remember the name of your image. Anyways, so we're gonna open that and boom. Yeah, this doesn't look good. Jocelyn, you just said grab an image that is the same size or has a fixed size of an iPhone screen. What on earth am I supposed to do? So you remember those values I told you to keep in mind over here that were 337 and 675? Those are important because that'll make sure your image goes back to the appropriate side. So the next thing you want to do is you want to change this X value to 0 and this Y value to 0, just so you can actually see the image, and you can just move it over here and Sketch will help you place it in the perfect spot. So as you can tell, this image actually stands out a whole lot, and what I like to do is I like to add an overlay. So I'm gonna just add a rectangle. And the reason being is because if you have like a logo or some sort of quote, you don't want the background to, distract whatever logo or text that you have. So what I like to do is I like to add an overlay. So I have a rectangle. So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that this rectangle has no borders, and you want to make the opacity go down. So let's try like 50. Yeah, there you go. So you can still see the background, but it's a little bit blurred out. Perfect for a logo or some text. You could even bring it all the way down to like 35%, but I think that 40% range is perfect. Keep in mind, you do not have to keep this gray. So we're going to change this fill. Okay, so right now we're still in the gray area, and we could just move it a tad, not too blue, but just blue enough. And I think this is perfect. So like I said, you could pick whatever value you want. I'm gonna go ahead and save this value, but you could pick whatever you want. You can get really crazy with these colors, but for time's sake, I'm just gonna go with this bluish, purplish, it's kind of like an indigo color. So I think it's really cool. And the next thing we are going to do is we're going to add a logo. So you can get a logo or create a logo from anywhere you want. I personally like to use Canva. I also like to use Flat Icon for more generic logos, especially when it comes to mobile development. So I already have a logo. I'm just gonna go ahead and bring that image in. So just call it Earth, something really generic. I don't really have a name for this app. It's really just generic and just to help you get your feet wet. So Sketch is really nice because it helps you position things in the perfect place, or center things. So I'm just gonna leave it here. So this is really nice, really chill, low-key splash page, and we're just gonna leave it like this. So like I say, you can use whatever logo, whatever color you want. My main goal for you all is to just be able to design in Prototype a loading screen and a login screen here and translate it into iOS code. Right, now we're cooking. I apologize if I go over 5 minutes. I just want to make sure you all grasp every detail so you could be successful designers. We have our great looking splash page. You could tweet me. I have my Twitter profile in the description. You could totally tweet me what you designed. That would be super cool, and you all can give me ideas of new things to prototype. But we have a cool splash page. Next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we save that. So save it to your desktop, your documents, or whatever folder you have. I'm just going to save it in my downloads, and I'm just going to call it splash page. All right, so now the next thing I want to do is I want to open up a new page. So the reason being is because you need multiple PNG files to drop in your assets folder in order to translate it into iOS code, and we'll get into that in a little bit later. So the next thing you want to do is you want to create a simple login screen. So you experts now know, you go to Artboard. Next thing you want to do, pick iPhone 8. Is you want to make sure there is a consistent feel throughout our design. We want to go ahead and we want to add that overlay again. So you can add, whatever color you had previously, and it's okay if you don't remember that color. Don't forget, we don't want the border, and we want to go to splash page. We're going to go back here because we want to figure out whatever that hex value was. So we're just going to copy and paste that over here, and we're going to change this fill. Boom. Okay. So now we want to go over, I don't remember what the opacity was. Okay, 40%. You could choose whatever opacity you think looks best for your application. So I'm going to choose 40% to make everything consistent. So now we want to add the logo as well to the login screen. So we can go ahead and just grab that image that you had before. Mine is called Earth. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it up here, but I'm gonna make it smaller. So you can just click the image, and this right-hand side, you could just change the size. So I might go with 100 width and 100 height. Just so when the users are logging in or launching the app, there's this consistent color scheme. Also, they can remember what the logo looks like, right? They can have some sort of psychology behind this design. So the next thing we want to do is we want to create a prototype that has this text. So I know this is new, you're probably not sure what this is, so I'm gonna close this out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to File, and I'm gonna go New from Template. So these icons are all the different icons that all these different platforms you can have, based on whatever, operating system, so Android or iOS or whatever, you could be on web or whatever. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna go to Hint Text. I'm gonna copy this over here. You'll see why in a second. So I'm gonna paste it here, right? All right, I'm gonna center it. You need a text box so you can log in. So what I don't want is I don't want this text right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. So now we wanna copy it again. Let's see if let me do it a second time. Boom. Actually, this is perfect. So we wanna go ahead and delete that text. So now you have your area for username and you have your area for login. All right, so there are a few more things that we want to do because this is still kind of bland. So the next thing we want to do is we want to add a button. All right, I actually like to use these shapes. I find them very helpful. So we're just gonna add a button, okay? And what we're gonna do is gonna get rid of that border. I'm gonna change this fill color, see what it looks like. I like this. Okay, so now we want to add some text to make this app look more realistic. So we're just gonna go in here, add text, just some placeholder text for the username, nothing too fancy, and then some placeholder text for password. We also need some placeholder text for the login. So go in here, log in, and we want to change the color because gray on top of red is a no-no. And we're going to change the size. Let's make it like 20 so it can stand out a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so now this looks more realistic. Now we can get to the main part of this video, which is converting it from the sketch design to an iOS Swift application. So now that we have our UI design built, what we need to do is we need to export these files as PNGs in order to drop them in the assets folder in Xcode. So what I'm just gonna call this, my splash page. Save it in my downloads, and I'm gonna save this as my login page, my downloads. Okay, now that you have that done, go ahead and open up a new Xcode project. And we're just gonna make this a single view application. What you wanna do is you want to drag and drop these PNGs into your assets folder. Go to your Main.storyboard, and you want to make sure you have this side menu open so you can build your UI. All you need is one element, which is your image view. Alright, you want to drag and drop that in your view controller. Make sure it is the same size. Your image view is the same size as your view controller. And you want to go to this little ruler, and you want to auto resize. So you want to make sure your constraints auto resize no matter the size of the device. So now you just want to go to content mode and change from scale to aspect fill, and we're going to select our image. So in this case, mine is called login page. Boom, you have your login screen, and this little arrow means that this is going to be the initial view controller. So to do the splash page or launch screen, just click this launch screen. So the last thing you want to do is just run this. Gotta wait for the simulator to load. It shouldn't take too long. Just give it a second. Moment of truth. Boom. Got your splash page and your login screen just like that. So there you have it. From Sketch to iOS. I know this was really simple and the app was really generic, but that was really the whole point of this, is for you all to be able to build whatever prototype you want and export it into an iOS application. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching this video, watching this tutorial, and visiting my channel. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up, comment for other video ideas. So I look forward to seeing you all soon. I am doing tech videos at least once a week. I'm gonna upload twice a week, so it's gonna more than likely be review / tech videos like this, or design videos and vlogs. That's all I got. I'll see you all later. Have a blessed day. Peace.